Hey, this is Michael Lindsay from Vinyl MX. I'm here with Jacob Hayes, who just got back from Redbud.
Fresh off the plane.
Fresh off the 300 two-stroke fuel-injected bike, the bike that people want to know how good it really is. So that was a little bit of a trip. You guys had a lot of bikes to ride, so I'm finally getting to sit you down. You've gotten some time to let it simmer. How was it?
I was really anxious to get on this motorcycle. I think everyone was. There was one 300, one 125, and one 252 stroke, so there was only 3 two-strokes there.
And you tried to break it.
We'll get into that. But, yeah, I think I was trying to grab it first before anyone got up there, and everyone's like, yeah, there's, time slots for the two-strokes. I was like, so is it my time to ride the 300? But got on it right after I rode the 354 stroke. So, kind of had a good comparison in power, right? I got on it, and as soon as I got on the track, I was like, dude, this bike feels phenomenal. Definitely an upgrade to, I've ridden a 252 stroke. For the fans out there that have ridden a 252 stroke, you know how you kind of come out of that corner, and sometimes you get that little bit of the lag, and then it really starts pulling, and it almost is an aggressive lag, but then an aggressive pull. And I don't really like the 252 stroke for that reason. It's really kind of been my least favorite bike for a long time now. So when I got on the 300, right away I noticed as soon as I cracked the throttle, whether it was second or third, you could just roll it on nice and smooth, and then it would just build. And with the EFI, the electronic power valve, you can have 2 maps. You can have the mellow map, and then you can have the aggressive map. And you can tell these guys really wanted to make a difference in both of those maps. So the mellow map, if you're on a hard slick track like Glen Helen, I would probably run the mellow map. It's got plenty of power. The bike doesn't feel bogged down at all. You can really work your way through the gears. But then I wanted to put it in the aggressive map as well. Really came out of the corner, picked it up right off the bottom, carried through the top, and I was just like, wow. But nothing out of control. Nothing not manageable, yank out of your arms. I mean, I had so much fun on the 300 alone, and I was only able to do 5 laps. You guys have seen the GoPro footage. It was phenomenal. The track was phenomenal. But what I told the EFI guys was how well they tailored the whole chassis and subframe and swing arm, and how they ergonomically built the whole motorcycle was, I mean, I know it's the same chassis as the 4-stroke, but it just seemed to work better in the areas where the 4-stroke kind of struggled. Like the engine braking on the 4-stroke, I know I said on the video that I didn't really like how much engine braking, and it made the forks dive. The 300 was the exact opposite. That bike was so equally balanced, front and rear. I never felt like I was going to wash the front or lose the rear. The bike was front and rear balanced incredibly well. Coming into the corners, it was just pretty much a kind of point and shoot kind of thing for me.
So most people, of course, just straight up are wondering, KTM has never brought any, what they had before was the TPI, which was the port injection bikes. Now they're into a throttle body injection. They've never brought that to the motocross bikes. We actually just got done, 2 months ago, we did the off-road show where we rode a lot of TPI bikes, and those had they are geared towards off-road, but they are a very chuggy character, and it's very, fat-feeling character down low. They weren't very crisp. They are meant to be chuggy, but they've never really brought that to the moto bikes because they still had guys that were complaining about the TPI and off-road. They were great for creeping around, but they just had no life to them, no character, really. So I know initially a lot of people are concerned with this 300 in a moto model, hey, does it feel crisp? Yes, probably the goal with any OEM now making a 2-stroke is they want to make it as easy to ride as possible, as 4-stroke-esque as broad, but guys still like 2-stroke because they want to have some character. That's big thing is KTM. This was still a pre-pro bike. They're still finalizing the mapping, but jumping on it from being able to flat land, how does it respond when you land under load, crack it under load? Is it a lot sharper response than the TPI bikes we rode?
For me, kind of coming into the faces of jumps with a lot of acceleration chop, normally you have that kind of that lack and drive on the 2-strokes, right? It kind of just, it's wrung out. It doesn't really continue to pull. That was, in my opinion, eliminated with the 300. I rang the thing out in second, third. I really tried to push it through its gears. I didn't want to continue to shift it and just work through the next gear. I really wanted to just get the best out of it in each gear. With over jumping, I mean, I was in one of the sections, one of the tabletops, I was flat landing it on purpose and then wide open in the air just to see if it would kind of do that go go. And no, there was none of that. As soon as I landed wide open with the with the rev limiter in the air, I was like wop bop bop, land straight to pulling. There was no hesitation, which was incredible. I mean, I couldn't believe it. But no, it was not like a jerk out of your hands pulling. That 300 was, I think I said it to someone at the track. They did such an amazing job of just tailoring everything to that motorcycle and making sure it performed to perfection. And it did. Like, it was fun. It was really fun.
So you said you rode the 350 4-stroke there, the 450 4-stroke. Again, like the pauses with that 300 2-stroke, it's light. It doesn't have the engine braking. I imagine like most 2-strokes, you can brake and dive to the inside really easy. And so it's got that bonus from the 2-stroke. But how similar have they? You're talking about how easy it is to ride, how broad it is. How similar does it feel to the 450 or the 350 to ride? I mean, do you jump on it like, even though the sound's there and everything, does it kind of take you a minute to? Do you know you're on a 2-stroke other than the sound, or has the power become that manageable?
So, I mean, yeah, it was pretty much just right off the 350 straight onto the 300. And for me, I felt, I mean, I didn't do lap times. I wish I would have done something in that sense. But for me, the 350 was a great manageable power. But the 300, I could just push it that much harder. And yes, I knew I was on a 2-stroke because of the sound. But with the lightness of the model and the way I could flick it around and the way I could dive to the insides and then still pull myself out, I wasn't struggling and just bogged down under power. I think the left-hander before the long famous sand rollers at Redbud, like even on the 350, I kind of come in and it was 300 was floating on top of the sand, and I think you guys can hear it in the GoPro. It's not at all struggling in those sections. I mean, I even dove to the inside right before that big tabletop after the sand rollers just to see what it would do in second gear, and I just sat down right up the face, and it just pulled me.
And that thing's tough. During the Nationals, like bitchin' 250F struggled to get that thing clean. Those dudes are seating that thing from the inside hard.
It's a big jump, and just the 300 in the tight sections. Once you drop down after the start, drop down, go left, and it's got that tight left-right. I was just amazed that I could either sweep in and really roll it on, or I wanted to see how well it would work under just going and kind of stopping it dead and then getting it going again. And it was just, it had a very 4-stroke-esque feel to it. You could roll the power on. It wasn't glitchy. It wasn't lighting the rear tire up. It was very connected to the ground. Once you started rolling the throttle on, it would just kind of connect you through the track, which was incredible.
What if I had to give you the option? So you rode the 250 there. Again, both these bikes are pre-production. KTM literally brought one of each. I think they were the test bikes from California. They had to clean up those because these bikes I think aren't coming till August. I heard they're still working on the mapping on the 250 a little bit, but riding the 250 2-stroke to the 300 2-stroke, would you take the 300 every day of the week? Or
I've told probably 5 people. I'm going to send an email to someone at KTM. I'm just going to say, hey, I did some testing. I did some GoPro footage. I just need one. Just, can you please give me one? No, all jokes aside, I would pick the 300 all day. Even when I rode the off-road version with you 2 months ago, I was like, wow, this bike is good. It just needs a couple little fine tunes. And here they are with the fine tune motorcycle. And with the new chassis, like I said, the all new frame, the way they've positioned the foot pegs, the subframe, the swing arm, just the motorcycle was just so easy and manageable to ride. It was like I got on it and just immediately felt comfortable. I didn't make any adjustments. I didn't even check the sag. On the other bikes, I really was trying to be picky on how the sag was just because I ride 4-strokes all the time.
Yeah, and we had more testing. Literally, KTM said each guy in the 2-stroke, hey, you get a couple laps. Yeah. There's one of each. You decided to feed a rock through a chain guide, so you almost ruined everybody's day.
I know, gosh, and everyone was not not happy. They were panicking.
Fingers are being pointed.
Yeah, they were
Jacob's being
panicking.
cussed out.
The KTM guy comes over. He's like, "You good?" And I'm like, "No, the bike." And he's like, "Oh." He comes over and drops his on the ground right beside me.
They thought you broke the only one, but you just fed a little rock.
Yeah, it was just a minor rock. So no harm, no foul. But no, all jokes aside, great motorcycle. All the way around, just whether it's a deep, loamy track or hard pack, very manageable to ride.
Comparing it, so the 300 is what we call a bore-only bike from the 250. It's not bore and stroke modified. It's bore, I believe, only. I'm 99% sure. We need to look at tech spec, but I'm pretty sure it's just bare bore. With that, how's the rev character? Typically, you throw bore only at a bike. Low to mid's good. They kind of feel a little flat up top, like they struggle to rev. Compared to riding the new 250 two-stroke to the 300, how's the 300 carry from that mid to top compared to that 250?
The only thing that I would say that is weird about the 300, and this is me being extremely picky, is when you over rev it in the air, it just sounds a little weird. It's just like it's got a wild sound in the ring of it. But no. As you come out of the corner and get to third, I mean, it takes off, but not in a way that just kind of throws you off the back of the motorcycle. It's so smooth how it works through the power band. And then when it gets to the top, I mean, I purposely tried to, on one of the sections, it was a right-left before the tabletop. I really tried to just ring it out in second. And like on a 125 that I rode, it was like, I'm not going to make this jump because it just signs off. The 300 never signed off once. Yeah. I never got it to sign off, and I really tried.
Nice. So it can, like I say, you don't feel it nose over. You feel it until it gets into that limiter. It just pulls and pulls.
Yeah, I was impressed with how well it worked through the power band, low, mid to top. I tried riding most of my corners in second, but with this one, you could even leave it in third. Like with the aggressive map, I put it in third gear and was just burp, burp, working my way all the way around the track, and then I might have shifted to fourth one time, back down to third, and then with the non-aggressive map, I was riding in second in the corners, and it had similar feels, but I was just up a gear with the aggressive map.
Last one, if somebody came up to you, again, you have the 450 four-stroke you rode, the 350 four-stroke, and then this 300. Where does the 300 land in comparison for you on how do you feel like it's smack dab in the middle two? Do you feel like it's closer to the power of the 450, closer to the 350? Where do you think its competitiveness lies with those two bikes as comparison?
With the KTM products and everything that they just launched, the motors on them they are fast. The 450, I was mind blown with how much bite and snap it had off the bottom. Same with the 350. I haven't ridden a 350 in a while, but the last one I did ride was just like a insanely fast 250F. You know what I mean? With a little bit more. The 300 definitely falls just a little bit short of the 350, the new 350 that they have. But for me, I would rather have a little bit less power, but have a lot more fun on the motorcycle. I could throw that thing around, not feel overworked, and I mean, shoot, I didn't have to kick it. It was just a little bit of electric start. I struggled all day getting used to the electric start on the right and the kill switch on the right. I just kept hitting the left side.
Map switch
I kept hitting that side. But for me, I just loved how easy I could get on the bike, throw it around, and the power was good. I didn't feel like I was on, a very underpowered motorcycle. No, it didn't have that peak horsepower that the 350 does. But I would rate it power-wise just a little bit below the 350.
So if the top's not as good, would you say, let's say you're burying the thing in a sand corner, is the low to mid on the 300 a little better than the 350? Like you said, 350 always feels kind of like an overpowered 250F. Does the 300 have a little bit more of a lugging, pulling power? Or would you say it and the 350 are pretty on par with each other for low to mid performance?
I would say the 350 gets through the low a lot quicker, and then you're quicker. Then you're in your mid. I like on the 300 how it does work through the
much more of a torque tractor feel.
Yes, like it has that long pulling feeling. It doesn't, like, as soon as you hit it, you're already in the mid power. It really works through the low end and gets up to the mid. So for me, it was more manageable to ride the 300 versus the 350. I just felt like I was short shifting and I was kind of between gears. The 300, you could really use your way through second, use your way through third. So that's what I liked about it.
I feel like on a low meat track like that, like for instance, you're talking about coming out of that corner into the famous sand rollers. If you have more of that long tractor pull, it gets you more time. Like under load, it'll squat down. You can go and get off the back more and row it through the rollers. Where the 350, if it lights up quick, I imagine you have to, I got to get to the next gear because it's going to, almost unload because it's spinning through the power. Where if you guys had 300, you're just like tracked.
Which happened multiple times, right? Like if I went inside and I really got on it on the 350, it would get up to the power quick. But then I'm trying to get forward, get my shift, and I'm kind of like losing my momentum to where on the 300 I was second, and then just could really carry my way through the rollers. That's what I liked about it, and it had that light feeling that I wasn't just trying to manage a big 4-stroke. So that power was incredible.
Nice. So if you're somebody that wants to ride moto 2-stroke, wants to enjoy it, isn't held back by class structures, because pro racing, you still can't ride the 300 against the 450. Probably a lot of local race series will let you do it or have an open class, or if you just want a enjoyable 2-stroke to moto at the track, 300 over the 250 all day?
Yep. All day.
All day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this. If you got any more questions, throw them in the comments section below, and keep watching for more videos.